Well, good afternoon and welcome to Karen's Corner. I'm excited today to have my next guest, Marty Forsythe. Marty, good to see you.
Hey, good to be here. Good to
Now
see you.
you, I know it's been a while.
Yeah.
Now, you are currently with Bobby Scott and Associates Professional Counseling, and you have been for a while, haven't you?
Well, I joined with him back last September.
Okay, so
Yeah.
coming up on a year.
Yes, yes.
All right. And how long have you been in private practice?
Well, since 2014. That's when I finished school in 2012, but I started practice, with my license in 2014.
Gotcha. Okay. So what would you say your specialty areas are?
Over the years, it's changed a little bit, to be honest with you, but for right now, mostly trauma.
Okay.
Because that same year after I received my license is when I got my certificate for EMDR. When
Wonderful.
I was licensed or went to the training for that matter, and I started doing a lot of trauma with EMDR, and also I like relationship building, which
Okay.
I normally use reality therapy with that. That's a therapy. It's called choice. It's a choice theory, but that's the theory that they use, but it's called reality therapy. But it's
Gotcha.
really met in trying to improve relationships because under that particular therapy, uh, the individual who wrote that, William Glasser, reported that he thought a lot of our issues we have, depression, anxiety, and so forth, is created by some type of negative type relationship with somebody. And
That makes a
if
lot
you
of
can,
sense.
yes, and if you can improve the relationship, a lot of times you can at least help manage some of the negative symptoms related with that.
Okay. Very good. So speaking of depression and anxiety, are you seeing more of that or any other conditions as a result of the pandemic?
Probably, I've seen a little bit of both. Of course, I think some people don't even know. Sometimes I think that the COVID can be almost like a subtle issue that's going on. Well, they already have all the other issues and stressors that are just part of life. That you add the COVID to that, and I think what happens is a lot of those same symptoms that they might have had previously. It's just it's exaggerated just a little bit more, and I think it causes more issues with their previous problems.
I
You
can
know what
see
I
that.
mean? So, and
Yeah,
it's just, it's a cumulative effect.
certainly. Yeah.
But you're right. I think there are probably some more because just the natural things that the COVID-19, we've never seen this. We've never seen this before. So it's the
Right.
unknown.
Well, the uncertainty factor, I think, is probably the biggest thing.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I agree with you.
So are you also doing telehealth as a result?
Yes, I have done some of that. And I've noticed even some now with even that I've had some students, adolescents that are actually doing their school work or their schooling at home. And they don't have any transportation because their parents are working. And so I'm doing teletherapy with some of them
Okay.
earlier in the day when normally it would be, later in the afternoon where their parents could bring them to therapy.
I
So I'm
got
doing
you.
some of the teletherapy that way too. So
Well,
I think
wonderful.
I think
Yeah,
it's something we're going to see to increase in the future.
I agree. Yeah. So have you seen a difference between in-office therapy as opposed to telehealth? Or what kind of differences, I guess? I'm sure there is one, obviously, but what kind of differences are you seeing?
Well, I think the main thing is you really can't. It's not the same because you can't be as close to their actions or how they behave and how they're reacting to. I mean, you're seeing them face kind of like we are right now. We're seeing ourselves face to face, but some of the other body actions you can't, like the squirming and some of that stuff, you don't. You aren't able to focus in on much since it's mostly just a face view. And so a lot of your nonverbal um, indicators we have is very important to therapists in order to respond to however your client is responding to whatever's going on with the two at that time.
Sure. Makes a
But
lot of sense.
and it's
You can see
yeah,
them kicking those feet underneath their desk.
yeah. Of course,
You
with
know,
EMDR, it's really you can do EMDR kind of like what we're doing right now, Karen. But I don't prefer that method because normally with EMDR I use where you have to hold two paddles and the paddle vibrate one, two, back and forth, left and right. But the only other method that you can do with EMDR is online. One of them is you do what I'm doing right now, and
Mhm.
you would be basically watching me do that, and you're doing it too. So you'll
Okay.
be doing your own, tapping. So that's part of EMDR, but that to me is a little bit more difficult to do than obviously face to face in the office.
That makes a lot of sense. Wonderful. Okay, so what led you to this field? I'm interested because you said you just got licensed not too terribly long ago, so that means you've done something prior to this.
Right. I had 34 years in the Air Force and Air National Guard. And obviously, I was going to retire at age 55. Well, that wasn't going to work for me. I was going to have to do something else. But what led me actually to mental health counseling is it was an individual that was in my squadron. I was a squadron commander at the time. And uh, he had some orders to deploy. He's already deployed twice with us, but this will be his third deployment. And he volunteered for this. And all of a sudden, he came to me and said he couldn't do it. And what happened was he had developed PTSD
Mm.
over some previous deployments that he had back when he was with the Army. So he had deployed, but this was really delayed PTSD. And this guy was really good. He was sharp. He was willing, great kid. But that did as much damage to him where he decided just to go ahead and go ahead and terminate his career due to the PTSD symptoms that was occurring to him. So I really had it just really touched me a lot right there. So I did a little more research into that, and had already, when I finished up my degree, my bachelor's, when I was still in the Air Force, I had spent, actually my minor was psychology and sociology.
Okay.
So I already had a little bit of a background, but this kind of sealed it when that happened. So I said, I think I'm gonna go back to school and get my master's in mental health counseling and pursue another career.
Very good. Well, that's impressive, Marty. It really is. That's wonderful.
Thanks.
So what would somebody need to do if they wanted to make an appointment with you? What's the best way to do that?
Best way to do that would be to call our number, and we are planning on moving to another location too
Yes,
here
I
pretty soon.
heard. That's
Yes, but
exciting.
it'll still be obviously the same number. We're not changing that. It's a virtual number, so it would be with Bobby Scott and Associate Professional Counseling, the number that goes for that, and that would be the best way of doing that.
Okay,
And of
very
course, we
good.
have a website too. It's all out there. The website, and you can go through the website and also to set an appointment for us.
Wonderful. Anything else you want to share before we wrap up?
Uh, Only thing I can think of is I do enjoy working with people. I think we all, as individuals, I think we all have a capacity for immense change and growth. And it's what I like to do is working with people to help solve their problems, confront any type of relationship conflict, which what I had told you before about relationships, and also address any personal concerns that people have. That's it excites me, and obviously the trauma factor, because some people it's hard for them to move on until they address the trauma that has happened in their. And a lot of times with trauma, sometimes to me it can be defined disturbances. Anything that still disturbs a person that's happened in the past that still is affecting them in a negative way now probably needs to be reprocessed, and that's what the EMDR comes in.
Very well said. Thank you so much, Marty. That is
You're
so
welcome.
succinct. I'm going to have to remember that. It's a great way to explain it. Well, thank you again for your time. Again, it was good seeing you, and I look forward to actually seeing you in person at some point.
I'm looking forward to seeing you again, Karen, too. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye. Bye.